Welcome to another video on Strategize. I'm Batman, and I'll be taking you through the journey of education and understanding. Today we're talking about the black box. Black box is a marketing term. It refers to a buying behavior that we don't fully understand, or a decision tree of customers that we don't understand why it goes that way. To understand the black box, we need to understand what buying is. Also, we need to understand a couple of more different things, like what is need, what is want, what is demand. And to aid with our understanding, we'll be going through some exercise, some perspective exercises. We try to look at things through technical eyes of the supplier or the companies that supply products to us, and through lens of a customer, us, just everyday ourselves. And I hope you learned something. Yeah, I try my best to teach, but I don't know. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and please give me feedback on how I could improve my videos and especially improve my educational content. I want to teach as good as best as I can. So if you figure that one way works better than the other, or one approach is better than the other, just please let me know. Thank you. Now, what is buying? Buying and selling is a conversation. One can argue in business, everything is a conversation. In fact, I argue that strongly, because I believe a conversation is an exchange of values. Like, even right now, I am telling you cool new things, and you give me your attention. We're exchanging values here, and you might be like and subscribe. I know this conversation is a bit one-sided, but you can comment. Forgive my pitiful attempt at getting traction. But come on. A like and comment really goes a long way. Thank you. So, value. Exchange of value. Conversation is an exchange of value. What is value? Value is a subjective thing. Value is personal. Value is location based, is time based, is hard to understand. To understand value, you need to understand something entirely different. Need. You need to understand need and its transformation to want and its transformation to demand. And then you can see how value is present in all the stages of transformation. And you also understand how abstract value is, because it relies on so many different variables, such as, again, need, want, and demand. Now let's go through this. So, need is your state of existence. If you live, you need. You need air constantly to provide oxygen to your brain so you remain conscious. So you are in a perpetual state of need as long as you are alive. It's a testament to your life, basically, your existence. As long as you live, you need something. So what is want? Want is when your need turns from an idea into reality. When you take your need and give it some real shape in reality, that want. Like, I'm hungry, aka I need food, therefore I want a burger. Now, if you were of another culture, you might be more inclined towards, I don't know, tacos, or in my case, kebab with the Persian K. Kebab, delish, kebab. Okay? So you see, values are starting to appear. Now, what is demand? Demand is when your want meets your wallet. Mm, not exactly. Demand is what happens to want after it goes through and passes through all your limitations. Like, I am hungry, therefore I want kebab. I cannot afford kebab, or I cannot find a good kebab place, or I don't feel like it. I feel like dieting or something, so I don't demand it, and I demand something else. Like, there are shawarma places near me, and they're faster, they're more affordable, so I demand the shawarma. If I wanted to, you know, lose weight, I would demand salad. Or sometimes values affect us in another way. Like, if I was of a vegetarian, then craving them eating meat would conflict with my values. Therefore, I would demand salad again. So, our values affect our wants and our demands. Values from values form based on where we are on the pyramid of needs. Yes, there is a pyramid of needs. It is called the Maslow's pyramid of needs, and it looks like this. At the very bottom here, you see the basic needs, then psychological needs, then self-fulfillment. The higher you go, you change from physiological needs to psychological needs to self-actualization, and each step affects your perception of reality and life around you and affects therefore your value. Your upbringing affects your value, your core beliefs affects your value, your religion affects your value, who you are affects your value, and your value affects who you are, your value. And where you actually are physically and emotionally and psychologically also affects your values. Now, you found that values are as unique as fingerprints because you are as unique, more unique than fingerprints, actually. Turns out fingerprints aren't that unique, but less than 10% chance of them repeating. Or less than 1%, I don't remember, but it's not 100%. So you're more unique than your fingerprint. Yay! Companies try their hardest to fulfill your wants in line with your values in such a way for you to demand them, to demand their products. That's all the companies do. So if someone asks you what companies do, you just tell them companies try their damn best to fulfill your wants in line with your values in such a way for you to demand them. That's all a company does. But that's really hard to do because, as I said, all we can really bank on is your needs. Because we could somehow categorize them in some vague areas. like in the pyramidal needs that I showed you. But that in itself is again hard to do because we need to actually understand your needs and where they come from. Okay, so there are needs that you're born with, and there are needs that you pick up. Like you don't need a cell phone, but you need a cell phone. You know what I'm get what I'm going with this? You guess it. Sometimes we create needs through social normalization, legalization, or whatever. We just basically force you to need something, but it's hard work. Your values are unique, therefore your wants are unique, therefore your demands are unique. How can we capture the most vast group of people that we can cover the wants in line with their values and make sure we are demanding? Marketing has a part called the black box, as I said before. Basically, we can trace this progression from need to demand, but sometimes we don't know how or why this transition takes into different directions. Like, imagine it. First of all, we have these three milestones: the need, the want, and the demand. And this engine that takes you from need to want to demand that we call value. But we can only understand these three parts. But you can really go anywhere you want between all these milestones that we have. And sometimes among them, you just go somewhere else and don't demand us. For example, in mid 70s, someone named Gray Dole put googly eyes on the stone and sold $1.5 million worth of stone pets or pet rocks for $4 each. What? Baffling, I know. And that's black box at play. Why, or like, why do you pay more for a brand? Basically, we know that we pay more for assurance. But what if the company gives you a warranty or a guarantee that is better than the brand? That's a bit secondary, don't you think? You realize that, oh, that's a bit secondary, I don't care. We pay more for brands because a bigger brand has more to lose. Because if we start sharing in X or Instagram or TikTok that this commodity is faulty, it's more problematic for them. They have more to lose. So they actually do something about it. Like if a Samsung phone is catching fire, they will react and issue recall or work on it or do something. But if Mr. Fluffy and Son's phones start combusting and we share it all over the place, the most they will do is they comment LOL under our post. We are paying more for assurance, basically. If any company followed the same quality control and the processes were the same, the yields were the same, the assembly lines were the same, manufacturing process was the same, there, there wouldn't be any difference. But we still go for the brand. But there are some um, outliers here. Look, This is a lighter. Manufacturing of these lighters have been going on for a long time, and we have gotten quite good at manufacturing these things to the point that every process is almost the same anyway. We might prefer to purchase a Zippo or a Bic, but honestly, we don't really care. Like, this is a tool that we don't use that long and that much, and even if it's big, we don't care about it. Or like these two nail cutters. They're made in different countries under different standards, but they do the same thing and they look the same and function the same, basically. One is made by Rasengan. I don't know. I can't read this. And this one doesn't even have any markings because we don't care. But the manufacturing process and the quality control process and all the assembly process and everything is so mature that it's basically the same. And maturity is a part of the SDLC process in product management. Stay tuned for that one. Yeah, but still, if there's a possibility that if a company like, let's say, Apple tries to sell you a nail clipper, they can, you'll buy them because it's 29% more than what? But they're good at it, and they can and will. Not that they're going to. They will pay you nail clippers, but they will sell even if they sell nail. So anyway, let's say a new company with a better quality control comes up with better pricing and can offer the same value TV, let's say, as the best brands out there, like Sony's and Samsung. Do we go for that? Still, even with the higher warranty or anything, would we? I might say the warranty is just a piece of paper and they can, like, go back on their words, and all this quality control things I don't care about, I don't understand about it. You know, you get the gist. So what I'm trying to say is quality perceived and quality achieved are two different beasts. And that's exactly the same with value achieved and value perceived. They're the same. They're different. They're like two different beasts entirely. Oh, this product has such great value. Mm, meh, this product has such a great perceived value. That's the one that gets sold more and gets the most sales. So now we're at the perspective exercises that I talked about in the beginning of the video. Okay, if it's TVs, mostly the components are the same in our head. They're not, but we think they're the same. How different can they be? It's just a panel, some circuitry, and some uh, sound bar and design element. What's more to it? The brand. the brand. But in some other products, the components add to the perceived value. Like, what is an A18 chip inside an iPhone? Do you actually know what it is? You might have remembered the boxy shape that they showed you, but the chipset itself doesn't look like that. And it's not at all like that, and you don't know how it is made. No one does. No one, except for engineers in Apple and some really good engineers that can guess what Apple is doing. Outside of those people, no one knows what's the difference between A17 and A18. Hell, I cannot even tell what's the difference between A18 and an A18 Pro, other other than what they told me in their uh, press conference. I have no freaking clue. Now, over the Android side, things are a bit more clear. Now, there's this thing called Snapdragon 8 series that is made by Qualcomm. It's a top of the line SoC that they made, and lately we've made to care about these things, components within our device, smart. The component SoC is known now, and we care. Therefore, it became more important than before. But in all honesty, those chips are powerful, yes. But even older ones, if you manage to somehow give them more power and somehow cool them down, you can still get more power out of them. The better SoCs in phones are the ones that can uh, deliver most processing power with the least amount of uh, electricity fed into them and with the least amount of thermal problems, because you know your phone is encased in an IP rated cage. So that's the bottleneck. Otherwise, you could just juice them up like a GPU or a CPU, and that's how it works basically, right? The more electricity you feed to it, the more um, processing power it has until it reaches the cap and it cannot do it anymore. And it's just like that. Um, but the problem with that is, like, as phones get older, you cannot do this. You cannot upgrade them. You cannot feed them more power to at least keep the performance constant with all the new software that comes out. Because, well, batteries don't improve over time, they degrade. Or the sealing or the cooling components, they don't get better. They just get wear and tear, and they just get worse and worse. Now, let's go back to the component bit. There is this organization called ARM. I told you that in Android side it's more known because of this. ARM, or Advanced Risk Machines, builds upon RISC principles, which is an open source uh, architecture and system, but ARM designs and licenses the instruction set architecture, or ISA, and core designs. Now, these core designs are important because these companies like MediaTek and Qualcomm pick up these core designs and just place them. Oh, this one goes here, that one goes there, this one goes here. And with different configurations and different cores that they pick, they achieve different, you know, results. So you're paying for a puzzle placing game, basically. You're paying more. This phone has the newest Snapdragon 8 Elite. Ooh, uh, you're just paying more for the pricing, most for the most part. Sometimes they have homebrew chips like Apple. Qualcomm has their Orion CPU cores developed from the technology that they got from a company named Nubia that they bought in 2021. Yeah. High-end Snapdragon mobile chips like Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 or 8 Gen X feature their custom Orion CPU core, uh, or the same Orion core technology in their X Elite laptop series that you see in Windows on ARM machines. But you didn't know that, and you didn't have to care. Now, I said TVs are similar, but they're not. They have their own chipset, like MediaTek Pentonic series or Sony's Cognitive Processor XR or LG's Alpha series, but no one cares about them except for select, select people. Nobody cares about those stuff. You might hear that this Samsung phone has 8 Elite in it, or that one has 8 Gen 3 in it, or whatever, and you care and it affects your uh, purchase somewhat. In this case, where there is a component that you actually care about and you know of it, you uh, your decision is somewhat weighted towards the better one. But we don't used to care about these things. Look, like at all. Like when I bought my old phone at 2017, as a tech savvy guy, the most I cared about like is it branded uh, with Snapdragon or not? If it was a Snapdragon, then I would go for it. Like not even 2017, like 2015. I think I got on HTC, old one. Those were the times that HTC were on the downfall, heavy downfall. And yeah, anyway, look, Android phones, the makers of Android, Google makes phones, and they use tensor chips, which are mid. Companies they go on stage and say new numbers, and we cheer for them. Like, woo! But what are we cheering for? Really, what are we cheering for? Like when you watch these videos, sometimes it's like, oh, woo, yeah, yeah, but you just skip. You see people do that because there is no skip button sometimes, and it's it's bad because the company needs to know your genuine feedback. If they knew what we actually care about, this wouldn't be a black box to them, but it is. In business, we make charts and analyze data to find out what you actually care about, what we can make you care about. Uh, and most of the time, we are super wrong, or we are going so wide to cover so much over the black box, but the part that you care about might be just this big. I mean, Google phones with their mid chips still sell. And at launch, they're expensive compared to the component that you get. They're expensive. So, what is the black box here? We can theorize about all these things, but by definition, black box is what we cannot see. While black box remains partly mysterious, businesses that obsessively try to understand their customers' underlying needs and their customers' value and the perception of value are the ones most likely to crack the code, or at least make highly educated guesses. This deep customer understanding is what we aim for in any strategic endeavor. And in today's world, we're leveraging data and yes, even AI can provide new leads and a new lens to peer into this black box, helping businesses align their offerings more closely with true demand. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to improve it. I am trying to improve if you notice. Please again, like, subscribe, and I would like our conversation to be a mutually valuable thing. If you could talk back to me, I would appreciate it. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what you want to um, hear from me. And I get business can be boring. So what I will do is I'm going to bore you to sleep. Yeah, I was thinking like, hey, this stuff can be boring, quite boring. Why don't I just turn this into some sort of a ASMR thing and get and keep talking about business or keep uh, saying high educational business stuff until people go to sleep, like 2 hours, 3 hour, 4 hour tangent nonstop, uh, reading a business book, talking about a business topic or something like that. I know I am dedicated to doing it. Like, but think about it. Isn't it valuable? Like you're sleeping regardless, but at least you might pick up a thing or two. Hmm, no. Anyway, check out the playlist, please. One of these sites, I don't know which one is it anymore. And the video, and again, subscribe, like, comment. Thank you.